opposed to them with the exception of if somebody is a danger to themselves or others. The United States consumes the vast majority of psychotropics in the world. Okay, so explain that to me. It's a phenomenon of American and Western culture. We're a pill happy country. Okay, so people resort to taking pills or alcohol or drugs to deal with their inappropriate ways of thinking. Okay, I know of situations of people that I've known who've gone through difficult situations, and some people make the choice and they start to consume substances, whatever they are, to mask their underlying mental, emotional problems. And other people who have been in difficult situations that I know of did not choose to resort to it, and they're better off dealing with it without getting intoxicated. Okay. So the point is, intoxication just doesn't mean you're getting high. It can blunt your brain activity. It's a lack of sobriety.
I
Okay.
agree with you with the like if when I do when I used to smoke actual marijuana, it would make me literally retarded. Like I would just become stupid.
Did you have
Every
an
time I
insatiable
smoked
when
it.
you did that? Did you have an insatiable desire to vote on the Democratic ticket in elections?
Oh, Darth, we will argue. I don't want to talk about that.
Just a little humor.
No, I think what it does is it makes you want to go to 7-Eleven and like just heavily invest in all their food is I think what usually happens.
Well, junk food isn't the solution either, sir.
It isn't. No, I'm just saying that's a side effect.
Well, shit, I'm feeling guilty here with my ice cream.
Bruh, I want some ice cream so bad right now.
I'm spreading sin by.
Have you ever tried the apple pie ice cream? It's usually sold during Christmas time, and it's really good.
I got salted caramel brownie from Ben and Jerry's right here.
I only like peppermint and mint ice cream. That's really the only ice cream I eat. Peppermint and mint.
I hate ice cream. What about situations like people with epilepsy? Like if you have
mute her. Mute her.
Let her talk. Let her talk.
It's a joke.
What about situations with like people who have epilepsy that need CBD so that they don't have seizures?
I'm all for using substances if there's a true organic etiology. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But the medical marijuana in the United States, it's a Trojan horse. It's because they want to get the resistance to legalize marijuana reduced in every state possible.
Darth, have you ever been in a discussion with Mr. Kit?
Oh yeah, many times.
Are you guys friends?
I would say so, and we get along most of the time. There's a couple of times where it got very contentious about.
Oh, I bet.
About the issue of Calvinism, but other than that, we get along for the most part.
I would love to sit in a discussion between the two of you. I recently tried to add you as a friend. If you and him end up in a chat together, and you remember to invite me, I would very much appreciate that.
I just sent you a friend request. See,
thank you.
See, I like you because immediately you said earlier is, if you're respectful to me, then we'll get along. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I get a lot of people that are just being in my face disrespectful. And by the way, I also consider people outright lying to me when it's clear that they are as a form of disrespect too.
Yeah, it's the internet. It happens. I'm sorry that you're experiencing that.
I mean, right now, I don't recall our previous conversations off the top of my head. And we obviously probably don't agree on certain things, but you're being entirely adult and respectful. So, okay, fine. So we disagree.
Darth,
I think people like Darth. I think people like your reaction. I think that's why you get people like to say the thing about earlier.
Stop. That's just a joke.
Oh, okay. People like your reactions when you get upset, and that's why people call you a lol cow. They don't want to give you that respect because then you'll react and you're very funny. And I know you're upset, but it is slightly humorous when you start
And
reacting the way you do.
that's okay. I'm glad that I entertain people as well as inform them.
Okay.
Look at all the extra, money that Tom Rabbit gets to spend on beer or marijuana from stealing my content.
Hmm.
Well,
I'm not sure who that individual is. I know who you are.
think YouTube CPM isn't that great per 1,000 views. It's maybe like $10, right? I don't know how many thousands of views he gets, but
Oh, my bad, MPX. My bad. But I actually want to ask you, Dark, why does Tom always record you? I just like thought about that the other day.
Do you want the short and sweet answer? Because he's a loser.
I was hoping for the long answer. Like, did you ever
The long answer is because he's probably so desperate to earn the small amount of money that he makes. Because if you check it out, you do the YouTube analysis, okay, it's not that much money every month, okay? So why would he spend all of this time trying to monitor for such little amount of money if he wasn't desperate for the money?
Darth,
hold on a second. He also produces little to no content of his own. I mean, if you've known Tom Rabbit since his inception on Discord, the one thing that he relishes in is fomenting, how shall I put this, conflict, right? He did so from the very early days. He ran a server on Discord. This is what he's all about. And he's also a sophist, okay? I've dealt with him on numerous occasions, right? I mean, just look at the last analysis that he did of a video of mine. I mean, it was laughably stupid, you know?
So, Darth, I was brought a concern, and it might have been taken out of context because it sounds outrageous to me. But somebody said that you believe that lying is more outrage, like is worse than child molestation.
Well, what I said was, how should I put this? It's not precisely what I said. Okay, I didn't say lying is worse than child molestation. What I said is people who are committed to purposely lying. Okay, instead of just a momentary lie where somebody is in an anxious moment, they don't want to be called out on the carpet. Does this dress make me? Does this dress make me look fat? No, honey, you look great in the dress. Okay, whatever. When people purposely and regularly lie, they're violating one of the very fundamental, basic social contracts, and they're being devious about it. Okay, whereas child molestation is a different kind of a violation. Okay, I mean, lying is so serious that we put people in jail for it if they lie under oath, because it undermines the whole judicial process. Okay, somebody inappropriately touching a child, it doesn't undermine the whole basic social fabric. Okay.
It causes immense trauma in that child, Darth, and that can cause
I don't dispute that can be true. Okay, but you have to understand the context in which I said it. And as always, my opponents, people who hate me, always misrepresent what I say.
I know, and that's what I said when I
I've
stated.
always maintained that people who are committed to lying in public discourse, okay, like atheists, many Muslims,
Atheists are lying.
certain, yeah, they are liars. That where they're committed as an ongoing practice, that this is, I think, in some ways more problematic than somebody who is traumatizing a child. I think it has far worse social ramifications than certain instances of somebody sexually inappropriately coming in contact with a child. That's not to minimize the reprehensibleness of it as
Sir,
a child molestation.
I would only disagree because of the like the situation that causes with internal struggles. Like somebody who's molested as a child could then take those aggressions that they have and turn into a person like one that you're speaking about. So I would disagree with you. I would say that molesting a child will cause people to grow into the individuals that you're speaking of.
Well, that's a Freudian interpretation. Okay, that people are doomed to be what they are as adults because of some misbehavior when they're young. That's a
Well, they're
Freudian.
conditioned, correct? They're
That's
conditioned as
okay.
children.
Do you understand that view that you're giving is a Freudian one?
I
Okay.
don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't
Okay.
understand, sir.
All right. Let me do you a favor here. Hold on a second. What's your screen name?
My name is Messy Part of Art Class. Here, I'll change it so that you can see
Is
me.
it Inconspicous?
Right now it's Inconspicous.
Okay. I'm gonna send you a link.
I don't hate you, Darth. I love you.
Well, thank you. That's sweet. I'm touched. Okay,
give
so
me
do you
one
see the
moment.
link I just sent you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In there, I want you to go to the folder that says Christian psychology.
Okay, give me one moment.
All right. And then in that folder, there's going to be another folder that says E. Fuller Torrey.
Okay, so my phone might be messing up the folders. I see Christian, and then it says ... ebooks.
Okay, well, try to look it up because of the screen real estate. It might be problematic right now, but just save that link and get on your computer. Yes, okay, go to the Christian psychology folder. Within that folder, there's a folder that says E. Fuller Torrey. He's an eminent research psychiatrist. He's not a Christian. He spent his adult life trying to find the possible viral roots to schizophrenia. In that folder, there's 3 books that I want you to read, okay? One is Freudian Fraud. He shows the deleterious effects of Freud's ideology and how it has permeated Western civilization. And although psychiatry is not strictly psychoanalytic, meaning Freudian in all capital letters, Freud's legacy still lives on, not only in psychiatry and psychotherapy, but in all branches of Western civilization, including the media, entertainment, the judicial system. And he shows how Freud's ideas are such common parlance that people just take it as though it's a fact. And that is, certain bad things that happen to you will determine what you are as an adult. Okay. So read the book Freudian Fraud. Okay.
Yes,
excellent,
sir.
Excellent book. Okay. Whether you agree with it or not, it'll be highly informative to you.
Yes.
The next book in there is called you don't have to call me sir. Okay.
Okay.
There's another book in there called The Mind Game with the subtitle Witch Doctors and Psychiatrists. That's another E. Fuller Torrey book where he shows that the ideology of psychiatry and psychotherapy are, with few exceptions, not scientific and are on the same scientific plane as the ideology of what witch doctors and shamans do around the world. Okay. The third book in that folder that should be there is a book called The Psychological Society by Martin Gross. Okay. He was a newspaper editor who decided from scratch just to uncover what the nature of psychology was and its impact on Western civilization. So I would read that. There's another book in there which I would recommend that I peruse through. I think it's called House of Cards, and it should be in the Christian psychology folder as well. Okay. And so
Yes.
it's people are prone, um, females more than males, to buy into Freudian notions. Okay, that you are as an adult in terms of how you were victimized as a child. Now, that doesn't mean that certain victimization can have an influence on you, but it nonetheless is Freudian in nature. Okay.
Yes.
There's other interpretations of other psychologists, such as like Jungian psychology, Carl Jung. Why
I'm
don't you like despise him or criticize him? But
young.
specifically targeting
Well,
like, yeah,
well,
go on.
because Jung's ideology takes a different form. Jung's own corrupt ideas manifest themselves differently. So, like for example, I'm sure you've heard the term introvert, extrovert. These are all Jungian terms. Okay, certain psychological tests that are prevalent derive from Jungian ideology. Okay, so when if I hear somebody expressing an idea from a specific person within the history of psychology and psychiatry, of course I'm going to invoke them. Okay, but she didn't invoke anything that was Jungian, or, for example, from the pen of, let's say, Carl Rogers or Eric Fromm or Abraham Maslow, other important figures in the history of psychological or psychotherapeutic ideology. I'm just simply saying is, yes, it's a bad thing when somebody is molested as a child, but it does not determine what they will be as an adult. Their daily mental and emotional choices over a period of time from that event will culminate in what they are as an adult.
Right.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that, like, if one bad instance happens to a child, that's not going to determine the person that they are. If like they had a good life their entire life, one bad thing happened to them, and then they had a good life for the rest of their life, chances are good that they probably will not um have such a bad reaction to that one specific instance. Sometimes, though, people handle trauma differently. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, I'm sorry. For instance,
See,
like
let me
a
just stop
woman.
here for a second. Notice that
Yes,
you're
sir.
using the word
Oh,
trauma.
sorry.
Okay. The
Yes.
word trauma comes with its own psychotherapeutic baggage and ideology. That's why I don't use the word. I use the term mistreatment,
Okay.
right?
So, so
Not to nitpick here, but it doesn't come with any psychotherapeutic ideological baggage.
that's fine. I don't mind compromising with you. So
Oh, you're free to use that term. I'm just making a quick comment.
yes, sir. I'm sorry. I keep calling you sir. That's out of respect. It's not out of disrespect. I want you to know that.
It's not sir, it's ma'am.
Anyways, so like certain people will deal with this mistreatment and be able to handle it because they're stronger people on the inside. For instance, one woman might be raped and then be completely capable of going to work the next day. And then another woman could be raped and it could literally destroy her as a person. A lot of people have different makeups in their person, and it can cause different reactions to situations based on, you're right, those coping mechanisms and those thought processes that they go through every day, the way they've developed to deal with stress and mistreatment. Um, it varies based on the person. I would say for the most part, what you said about like if somebody had an entirely good life and one bad thing happened to them, for the most part, I think you would probably be correct. But I think in those situations, most of the time, I'm sorry, it's not one time. And if they're put into that situation, they've probably dealt with a lot of situations similar to that situation or worse than that situation.
I just wanted to add on real quick. And everything you guys have said is just so well said. if anyone would argue, I would notice that people who typically, I'll say people that are rapists, unfortunately, they've had family members in their lineage who were also rapists, right? And I'm just giving this as an example to, it's more than just what happens to you during your childhood. There are multiple variants that affects your mindset.
I
And
don't.
your environment's a big one. The whole, if it runs in your family,
No,
right?
I don't think that being a rapist is genetic. I don't think that that's a thing.
I never said it was completely genetic, but there has been noted a very strong correlation that people have
That's
raped.
generational mistreatment. That's what that is. That's not in your genetics. That's generational mistreatment. If that person was taken out of that situation, that family, those experiences, I highly doubt that they would be that type of person. It is not genetic. It is generational. I want to say trauma, but because I'm respecting Darth, generational mistreatment.
Okay.
No, that would not be disrespect to me if you use the word trauma. I'm just saying I disagree with its usage. But if you want to use it,
Okay.
you're free to use it. You're not disrespecting.
Okay.
What's the discussion at hand? Rape being
It's
genetic?
amazing how we go from one thing to another.
Oh, well, we can change it. We can go back to, let's do we were going down a pretty good pathway with medication and things like that. So what about medications that help people, just like arthritis medications? I don't know. I'm just trying to switch up the subject. Anything that changes the body's chemistry at all, or just the mental chemistry of the body?
Well, I think that taking psychotropics to alter your state of consciousness when you don't actually have an underlying, physiological problem is simply masking the underlying problem. Okay?
Okay, I'm going to bring up a subject that is a topic of contention between me and you. And I'm going to try to handle this as
can we have we should play the dun dun dun.
Yeah. So, Darth, I grew up Mormon.
Okay. Can we have the dramatic music? Dun dun dun.
And me and you have a lot of disagreements. One of the main ones that I remember specifically is that the Holy Trinity is 3 separate entities.
No, that would not be a correct articulation of it. The Trinity is one God, one being essence, who has a threefold distinction within himself, identified as the Father, the Son, and Spirit. Each are separate distinctions of intellect, okay, or persons, but those 3 persons are one unified being.
I don't understand that, because Jesus refers to him as his Father, and also, like,
I have to take an important phone call. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
I think
no contention for you.
Jesus refers to God as his Father. He was saying that a father does what the son. He was using it metaphorically to describe the relationship that they have, because I don't think there was a better word to describe that relationship between Jesus and God. I don't think there was.
Why not just refer to himself? Why does he have to refer? If that's the case, why doesn't he just refer? Why is there this weird separation where he separates himself into these 3 entities? Why does he not just refer to all of him as himself?
Because Jesus was stating that he is the Son, and the Son follows after what the Father is stating. God was commanding Jesus to do these things that Jesus was doing.
Okay, so that's 3 separate entities. Why is God if he is God, then isn't he just commanding himself?
God was one with
I'm back.
God was one with Jesus.
Repeat your objection.
He got the music for me.
Okay, are you still Mormon?
I played that for you.
Okay, Darth, I still believe. So I am a confused Christian. That's what I will tell you. Most of what I believe is Mormon, yes.
I just wanted to respond.
Joseph Smith.
Yep,
Okay,
I believe in
well,
Joseph Smith. Yes, I do.
okay. Well, interestingly enough, why do you think it was that God had Joseph Smith translate the golden tablets into Elizabethan style English?
I'm not educated enough to answer that question.
Well, the answer is because God didn't. It's because Joseph Smith was only familiar with the King James Bible and its stylistic representation. So he copied that because that's all he knew. Another thing is, if the golden tablets were a minimal thickness, the pages, then the Book of Mormon would have been like 900 pounds, right? I mean, there are so many problems, right, with Joseph Smith. Okay, the God of Mormonism is not ultimate. He may be designated as the supreme being, but he cannot be characterized as ultimate. That he is the ground of all existence. That he is the source and basis of everything that ever was, is, or will be in terms of what it is, can be, or cannot be. So the God of the God of Mormonism is not ultimate. Okay?
I accept your perception.
Good. I'm glad you've left Mormonism now.
Hey,
No, I have not, Darth.
Well, you said you accepted my perception. By the way, it
I
wasn't a
accept
perception.
your perception
It-
as your
it-
perception, sir.
Well, that's not informative. That's like you saying, "Oh, I understand you believe that." Yes. So what?
1 second. Somebody has tagged us in a link. Greg Basman's Critique of Mormonism.
it's a great lecture.
You said that's Bonson?
Yeah,
Yeah, send that to me, will you?
yeah, sure. Have you heard the audio of that yet?
I've listened to so many lectures, and I'm trying to remember if I've listened to it or not. So I can't confirm right now if I've listened to it.
He runs through the entire story of Joseph Smith and the Mormon implications of theology in general. I think these are the notes. I think someone used a program to tie this out from audio.
So here's the problem. Okay, Mormonism teaches that God was once a man, right?
Not from my understanding.
Nah, yeah, and
That's
then he
what-
got his
yeah,
own
yeah.
planet. It's Mormonism is fucking
Yeah.
retarded. Trust me.
You're the God of Mormonism just is simply the supreme being, but he is not the creator of everything that is, and therefore he can't quantify or qualify as being ultimate. So only if we have an ultimate God who has a specific attribute set, that we will then have a world which will then secure that we can be in possession of truth, reason, and intelligibility. Okay? And intelligibility means that things will actually mean something with respect to why they are what they are in terms of its ultimate origin. Not that it will mean something because the human mind imposes by its thought, well, this means that. So the God of Mormon, see, Joseph Smith was a charlatan. He was a snake oil salesman, and it's very easy to see once you hear critiques of why he was a fraudster. Okay, I mean,
He was tried and convicted as one
yeah,
for glass looking.
yeah. Isn't it convenient how so many of these religions, they get a revelation from God? It's okay to marry all these women and bed them. You know what? Amazing, isn't it?
Well, the reason that was set in place, Darth, is because in the period of time, we were under attack by other branches of Christianity, and they were killing off our men. And so we had a lot of Mormon women who were not capable of holding jobs or owning property, and so these men would take extra wives in order to help support these women. It wasn't necessarily just to take extra wives. It was to continue our religion and to make sure that these women were taken care of.
Do you understand it from a theological perspective, though?
That's a great doctrine that Joseph Smith promulgated, so he could bed a different woman every night.
Yeah,
well, technically he didn't do that because his wives were not all in the same area. He would travel. And when he would go from place to place, he would set these women up with homes and with families. Like he would give them children and make sure that they had a place to sleep and somewhere to live. And he would financially and he would support these women, and then he would travel and marry another woman.
So did Hugh Hefner support a lot of women.
Hey, real quick, and so do most NBA basketball players.
Can I say something real quick, Darth? I mean,
yeah, the floor is open, but here's the thing, though. Okay, I don't want this to degenerate as a dogpiling on Messi. Okay.
Of course, I just wanted to say,
which it's going to, Darth. It will do that.
When it comes to like tradition and all these other things, God doesn't care for that. He cares if you obey His commands or not. So just because, unfortunately, the men are being killed off, and now you have widows, God still it said specifically that they were made one for one, not one for multiple. Like it's
that is true in the Bible, but we have the Bible, the book, the Doctrine and Covenants, the Pearl of Great Priest, and the Book of Mormon. So I'm glad that it says that.
Do you understand? Listen, do you understand that Joseph Smith, in his ineptness, along with Muhammad, he presented a God who was not ultimate. Okay. Now,
I'm not sure about that, sir.
Okay. Is the God of Mormonism was once a man, and then he evolved into the supreme being.
I'm not sure if you're correct about that as well.
Yeah, that's what Mormon theology teaches. Okay. Anyway, the God, for example, how does your God from eternity have love? Whom did He love? There's no one
He
for Him
loves
to love.
everyone. He is love.
You didn't understand that it's from eternity. Okay, you need to study Mormon theology more. By the way, in the link that I sent you, there's a folder called Cults, and it's filled with a plethora of cult research books, some of which deal with a step-by-step analysis of Mormon theology and why it is unbiblical. One book you want to read in there is The Kingdom of the Cults. There's a specific chapter on Mormonism. There's another book in there called The Four Major Cults by Anthony Hoekema, okay, or Hosekam. I never can pronounce it. Okay, he has a chapter in that book deals specifically with the failings of Mormonism. There's another folder in there with the name Ron Rhodes. In that folder, he is a cult expert. He has a whole book on the failings of the inconsistencies between Mormon theology and biblical theology. I believe the title is something like 10 things that you should tell a Mormon or make a Mormon know. Okay, so read that material. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm going to be researching that link very much. I appreciate that you sent that to me.
Hey, Darth, I have a couple of questions. I